Oh, hello there. Welcome to my home. My name is Victor Wingsing, and I am a Microsoft Purview MVP. Today, I'm going to show you how you can elevate your data security posture by using real world techniques that have helped organizations improve their data security just by using Microsoft Purview. And today, you'll see exactly how you can do the same. These are the three areas that are quick and easy improvements from my real world deployments that have helped organizations improve their data security posture by using proper DLP. The first is creating a dedicated policy for different workloads. The next thing that we're going to look at is how you can protect your sensitive data from AI using DLP. Then we will look at how you can use end user notification to educate and inform your end users to take the right actions. Let's start with the first one. When you're creating DLP policies, you should always separate them by workload. That means creating one policy for email and a separate policy for SharePoint and OneDrive. Most organizations I've worked with, especially when they're new to Purview, they tend to tick both boxes at the same time. When they do that, they end up thinking Purview is limited. But the truth is, the moment you combine workloads, the interface hides a lot more of the advanced options. So let's take a look at the email policy first. When we open the email only DLP policy, you can see that we have a full set of configuration options available. Everything is exposed and you can be as granular as you need to be. Now let's switch over to the SharePoint only policy. Immediately, you'll notice additional capabilities that weren't available when workloads were combined. You can control document versions, DLP policy when document creations were created or documents were created, and other document level attributes. These options only appear when SharePoint is configured on its own. Now let's look at what happens when you select email, SharePoint, and OneDrive all together in a single policy. You'll see that the available actions and conditions become limited. This is exactly why people think Purview is restricted. If you build each policy separately, you unlock more actions, more conditions, and more granular controls. That's the first improvement. Now let's move on to the second one, protecting sensitive data from being accessed by AI. Right now, I'm in DSPM for AI, where you can create DLP policies specifically designed to protect sensitive information from AI tools. I've opened the default DLP policy, and inside you'll notice that only devices are currently in scope. That's because this policy applies to items that users copy and paste into a browser. Inside the policy, you'll see that a large number of sensitive information types are selected by default. You can edit this list, of course, and narrow it down to only what's relevant for your organization. When I click on the edit button, you can see the full list of sensitive information types that are included. But the most important part is at the bottom. In the edits rules section, this is where you can control what users can and cannot do. Right now, two options are enabled. The first one lets you manage what users can upload to restricted cloud service domains or what they can do from an unallowed browser. The second one lets you manage what they're able to paste into these browsers. For each of these actions, you can choose to simply audit the activity, or if you click on the drop-down list, you can also block it. If you want, you can even block it with an override option. That just means that the user is blocked at first, but then they can override the block if they have a legitimate business need. And of course, IT will be notified whenever an override happens. Now let's answer the big question. Where does this list of generative AI sites actually come from? To find it, we go into the Purview settings, then into the DLP settings, and then into the endpoint DLP settings. There are many different settings here, but the one that we care about is the browser and domain restrictions to sensitive data. This is the section that controls which browsers and which domains are allowed or blocked. In my configuration, I've blocked specific browsers like Firefox and Chrome, and I've also blocked specific domains such as mail.ru. But the key part here is the list of generative AI sites. When I expand this section, you'll see a predefined list of Microsoft managed website. And this is the list that Microsoft manages. You can, of course, create your own list if you want to, but there's really no need because Microsoft already keeps this list updated for you. Let's have a look at these lists. As you can see, this list is quite recently updated as of February 27 of this year. The third thing we're going to look at today is how you can effectively use end user notification. Not many people realize that user notifications are a powerful tool to help protect your data from being exfiltrated outside the organization. The reason they're helpful is because they help your users visually identify when they're about to send sensitive data outside the organization. And this also gives them the opportunity to remediate said action. This is especially important when the data contains sensitive information that isn't labeled. In those cases, you should be informing your users and you should be giving them the option to apply the correct action. So right now, I'm inside the DLP policy for email, and I'm going to the user notifications section. I've turned it on, and I'm now enabling user notifications. I've selected the option to notify users within the service. I've selected the option to notify users within the service using either a policy tip or an email notification. What I'm doing here is notifying the user who sent, shared, or last modified the content. I'm also enabling policy tips, which are the messages that appear right at the top of the document as the user is working on it. I'm now going to customize the policy tip because this is what I want the users to see. If a document contains sensitive information, this message will appear at the very top of the document. And the message I'm putting here is very simple. This is going to be blocked from being sent as it contains sensitive information. Please read our company guidelines. So even before this document gets sent out, the user already sees this policy tip. Another powerful tool that you can use is, of course, linking to your company policy, company site. If you have data handling policies that is available internally, please do make sure to link that so it's easier for your users to remember where to go to learn more. Now I'm going to switch over to the SharePoint site policy so that I can show you something similar. Since this is an email, I'm not sending an email notification, but I can still show a policy tip that appears at the top of the document. In this policy, I'm telling the user that the document contains sensitive information and that they should refer to the company guidelines. The other thing that you would see here is that I'm able to customize email notifications so that I can give the user specific actions on what they need to do. In this case, I've selected these two options. Let's do a quick recap of what we covered today. The first thing we looked at today was how separating your DLP policies by workload gives you far more control. When you create one policy for email and another for SharePoint, you unlock deeper configuration options that simply don't appear when everything is bundled together. Most organizations don't realize this. They usually just select email, SharePoint, and OneDrive all at once, and then assume Purview is limited. But when you separate them, you get richer conditions, more actions, and more precise targeting. This is exactly how organizations achieve real-world success, by building policies that are specific, predictable, and easy to maintain. The next item that we covered, we explored how to protect your sensitive data from being accessed by AI tools. We went into DSPM for AI and look at how you can control what users upload or paste into browsers. We saw how Microsoft maintains an up-to-date list of generative AI domains, so you don't have to manually track them. And with options like audit, block, and block with override, organizations can strike the right balance between security and productivity. This is becoming a major real-world requirement as more and more employees experiment with AI tools, sometimes without realizing that there are risks. With these controls in place, companies can confidently adopt AI while protecting their sensitive data. And finally, we looked at how we enable user notifications. This is one of the most powerful but underused features in DLP. User notifications give people real-time guidance at the exact moment they're about to make mistakes. Policy tips appear right at the top of the document, and even email notifications can tell users what happened and what they need to do next. This is where most organizations see an immediate impact. Instead of relying on IT to catch every incident after the fact, users are now empowered to correct issues themselves. They can stop sharing a file, apply the right sensitivity label, or even follow company policy all before the data leaves the organization. And when you link your policy to a SharePoint page with your guidelines, you are not just blocking actions, you're actually educating your users. So when you put all of this together, separating your policy for better control, protecting your data from AI, and guiding your users with clear, actionable notifications, you transform your DLP from a background tool into a proactive safeguard that genuinely supports the way people work. These are the exact approaches that organizations that I've worked with have used to achieve real world success with Purview. And they're the same approach that you can start applying today. Again, my name is Victor. Thank you for listening.